So good afternoon and thank you. I have a really distinguished guest with me, and I want to share their practices. I want to share their knowledge. I want to question them. I promise it's not going to be too hard. It's going to be, something that you're comfortable with. But the topic is talents in global business service centers. But what I have to mention, GBS is still not present in Bosnia and Herzegovina. We have to be aware we are leaning towards it. We are expecting that it will happen in much higher capacity, but we are copying most of the practices from Poland, and we are not ashamed of it. We are really proud of it, and one day, let's hope we will go to the direction what managed to happen in Poland. So I'm coming from recruitment industry. I'm quite passionate about it. I'm already 15 years in it, and I feel that I have to question what happens with talent all the time because I'm questioned by my clients. They want to see what is the next phase, how they will behave, what are the expectations on the market. It's not just salary expectations. It's going in skills, too deep in skills, but then going in the way of how they function, how they work, what they're keen to do. What about remote work and everything else. So today's panel discussion will be in the perspectives of talent of GBS. And I suppose we are all aware how GBS emerged as a strategic imperative for organizations, huge organizations on the market, who are seeking to streamline their operations and mostly in capacity of, let's say, human resources, information technology, customer support, and everything else. But Adnan already made quite impression, and I know that Samira and Pavel, they will talk about trends and what's next in the industry. I'm going to skip this part. I'm going to follow the true strength of GBIs, which we all know lies in talent. And it's not just talent, it's the way how you attract them, how you nurture them, and how to retain them. And retain is something that is happening more often, at least in this industry, because before it was just gathering people in the company and being really proud how you're perfect on your recruitment, but it was basically job advertising. Now it's totally different, and the industry is evolving, and it's influencing everyone in it. So I have guests who can share their experience, and they come with a different background. And I'm going to start with Anna. And Anna and myself, we are sharing something similar from the ABSL side, because she was a VP in talent. I'm also VP in talent, so this is something that we share jointly. But Anna is also an experienced professional in strategic roles in global business services for over 20 years, and she has a strong background in service startups, shared services and startups from European and American companies. And she excels in this developing of business and personal strategies aligned with the objectives of the company. So Anna, I know, and I promised you, we're going to reflect so much on Poland. This is something, and there's a saying that we are following everything which is happening in Poland, and it will come at one point, at least 7 to 10 years, it will come to us. I'm passionately believing it's going to be at least 5 years, not 7 to 10, but I would like you to go back in Poland history when the BPO industry become relevant, and I would like to understand what are the most memorable, talent attraction strategies that you notice on the market because you went there, and what are the development practices conducted in those early years transitioning from the BPOs to the GPS. Thanks.
Right, but you can always take a shortcut.
Could always do that.
Right, but before, I wanted to thank you for the invitation. I feel honored to join this community and, of course, the event and talk with you also during all the breaks we will have. Yes, I've been with the sector since the very beginnings, and looking at it from the past, reflecting on the beginnings of the industry, I must admit we were just copying the job descriptions from our headquarters where all the work were coming, and we were simply training our people one-on-one without thinking about any optimization or integration that we should provide. And there were there were many, but two biggest highlights from those times. First is how to attract people to do the repetitive entry level jobs and stay with us. And the other was what kind of benefit we bring to headquarters, to the, let's say, parental company. The first one was, at that point of time, maybe not easy, but we were able to create an ecosystem, and it was because of the leadership and proactiveness of our leaders, basically, and of course ABSL facilitating and, as predecessor said, putting the spotlight on the sector, but reaching young people, not understanding the business and not really caring about it. It was more individual impact in local cities by the universities, by the authorities, by the city representatives, creating job fairs, creating branding campaign for the local people, but also for the people who migrated to the city and studied to stay in the city, and that they can have a brilliant future in the sector. So it was copy-paste, attract the talent, be in the line with the cost arbitrage of the parental company, and that was it. But there was this turning point, break-even point, okay, when we face the moment when people leave because they are not attractive anymore to do the repetitive tasks. Headquarters require more complexity for less money. So we as the industry, together with the ABSL, we're starting to think, okay, what we can do else. And in contrary to what you have in the sector, we were moving from singular function centers, but it was not mainly IT and finance, it was also procurement, HR, and many other let's say back office processes. Call centers were having a big stake, but not as it is here, and it was more like customer-oriented services. So we were thinking, okay, we need to invest in technology, and we need to invest in, let's say, democratizing skill set to use the technology in each singular function, to become multifunctional shared services, to grab more, to give the effect of scale, including cost arbitrage. And for that, it requires many actions, including looking at the salary not only from the net or gross perspective, but also adding on the top cost of the good office facility, as we discussed before, and training. And this actually continues to be really tense aspect of how do you construct a cost per capita at a different level of seniority and different level of complexity of jobs. And moving on from multifunctional shared services, we are now in the moment where we actually deliver more advanced added value services. And that was the break-even point. And that was the entrepreneurship and leadership acumen that we have in the sector, growing along. So starting from the, well, let's work together, building the ecosystem, having the campaign, universities, local authorities to make people believe in the good jobs and stay along after 1-2 years, getting bored, to bring more complex jobs, but that comes with responsibility, entrepreneurship. And that, maybe later on, I can conclude, brings much higher, well, I should say, bigger problems than in the beginning.
Let's keep the problems. So let's keep it light. And yes, you know, I'm not sure how our audience is familiar how impactful ABSL in Poland is in strategic ways in terms of government interventions and everything. But you know, seeing just transition from operational roles and going to BPO and now going in complex services and even product-oriented companies and entrepreneurs who came back to Poland as a reverse brain drain model, it's a perfect example how a country can be, you know, challenged with those issues, you know, losing talents, and afterwards getting this kind of support in this ecosystem that you described. But again, attracting back the candidates who are senior enough, especially after Brexit, coming back to Poland to make impactful businesses in their own country. So this is something that we are really striving to and hoping for. Okay, thank you, Anna. So beside Anna, we have Aida. Aida Fadžan is a skilled professional responsible for personnel acquisition, oversight at end-to-end recruitment process, and analyzing job recruitment and hiring specialized professionals. Currently serving as a people and culture manager in HulkApps. I love the position. So Aida plays a crucial role in shaping organization workforce, and she will join us and discuss some of the, I would say, you know, differentiator moments about HulkApps, kind of comparing to the rest of the IT companies in the market. They are quite young for at least our standards, but when I have, you know, experience with the HulkApps, and I know there are some labels with HulkApps, and one of them is definitely pre-qualification, and I think you are really proud of it because you managed to pre-qualify people, and this is intervention that we are expecting to start happening on all levels. But I know that HulkApps and Preala made a significant impact from recent presentation on the market, but it seems as a key differentiator might be the pre-qualification program for the young talents. So can you tell me what was it a strategy from the beginning, you know, to start immediately doing pre-qualification after you saw what you found on the market? Or you said, okay, we can do much more. We can speed up the scaling process and attract more talents.
First, I want to say hello to everybody. It is so nice to see you all here. And thanks for the invite.
You're welcome.
So when it comes to HulkApps, our founder came back almost 2 years back from America, and he didn't have the attention to actually open up an office. But then he met one person, another person, and then he saw the potential that is here in Bosnia, and he wanted to give back to Bosnia. He wanted to create jobs and just to make people stay. So after almost 2 years, we are 80 people. So it's a lot, and we want to grow. So the intention was also, like, I think all IT companies to have seniors, but we realized that it's really tough to do so. And then we also realized that we need to give people chances, that it is important to invest in people, and that we can like give knowledge to people. And so we decided that we should work with juniors. For example, last week we hired 15 interns, not only when it comes to like development, but also other departments, such as operation, marketing, QA, also support. And there was no experience necessary. We just wanted to see in people that they are willing to learn, that they want to grow with us, and that they are aligned with our mission and vision. So it is actually up to them. We give them the opportunity. So all that they need is to learn from mentors, because we have a lot of great people that are aligned with our founders' vision and mission. So we will help them to grow. And this is what we actually decided to have, like an organic growth, that it comes naturally. It is not like that we only want to fill positions, but we want that we empower people, that they trust in themselves, that they're willing to learn. And once they gain the knowledge, they probably will feel like gratitude, and that they want to give back. So the next cycle is that they will become mentors and they will share the knowledge with others. So yeah.
Super. It's quite inspiring, and I know that a lot of IT companies are being afraid of that strategy. You know, you are producing talent for the market. From the other side, if you have a good culture, if you have a standpoint and career path and development path for those people, most probably they will feel connected and feel empowered in the organization. So I keep my fingers crossed, because, you know, this is also a really humble approach because you are not pressured by strategic growth coming from, you know, outsourcing clients or whatever. So this is a great opportunity to enjoy the phases until somebody says, okay, go in strategic growth. So enjoy the organic growth.
Thank you.
Super. So yes, we have, and I have also a personal connection with Professor Poturak, and I questioned him, does he remember me? It was like 10 years ago, and I was doing some pitch. I don't know what I was presenting for the BiH University, but at that point, he was the most reasonable person at the table saying, yeah, these people, you know, make sense. You know, we will have to discuss about talents. We will have to discuss about programs that attract talents, because just having a formal education showcased in front of the candidates, it was not attractive anymore. It's not funky anymore for them, because they are moving towards the outsourcing companies, IT companies, and they look those interesting positions in the market. So Mersid Poturak is currently serving as a rector. So I'm glad that we passed this stage from professor to rector at International BiH University with a strong educational background, and holds an MBA and PhD in marketing. His expertise lies in various areas, including strategic marketing, digital marketing, marketing management, and I know you're an entrepreneur also. So it's not it's not small you know, endeavor to try. So whoever does it, I believe in those policies that Elon Musk said. You know, whoever starts a business, they should organize a startup shower. It's like a baby shower. So everybody comes in and support you, which is not happening here for some reason. Basically, people are questioning you when you start and deciding to start a business. So everybody deserves the praise, whoever starts something by themselves. So I know you are really proud on the progressive approach that your educational institution has, especially offering those popular programs like, you know, copywriting, HR, recruitment, you know, modern finance, and all those programs who are attracting candidates. But could you share what are the factors that contributed that kind of a position? Was it the professor? Is it the curriculum? Is it the advisory board that you have in place who were influenced that much to say, okay, these are the programs that will attract new talents and new positions and new companies who are looking for the similar expertise?
First of all, thank you for having me. It's a pleasure for me to be here today, even though this is a quite busy week for International BiH Universities. We have so many extracurricular activities and programs in this week. So from boot camps where students will present their startups, to Festival of Creativity work of our students where they will display the photography and video materials in the last 5 years that they actually created at the Department of Graphic Design and Multimedia. But I couldn't refuse this invitation, because I believe this is a very important event, because it includes key players who are actually working with young people, with youth of Bosnia and Herzegovina, and creating alternative for brain drain and young people to stay here. So all these knowledge sharing parties, such as university, public and private sector, companies and NGOs are here today, and I'm quite delighted to take part in this panel. So you already have some key words in your question that are answering actually the question, and every single university can say that, yeah, people are the most important asset of the university. You can have a brilliant infrastructure, campus, buildings, but walls do not teach, nor buildings. People are actually the main asset. Curriculum, yes, definitely has to be aligned with market needs, and you mentioned advisory board. You have to have external experts and company representatives who will actually analyze your curricula, who will analyze your educational processes and give you some recommendations if you want to educate new generations for future jobs. So any single university can claim this. So what makes BiH University different is actually approach to education. So people, curricula, advisory board, everything is fine. Any other university can have this. But we have completely different, that we believe, approach to education. So our university went through a certain, let's call it like this disruptive innovation or transition from the traditionally teaching-oriented university into entrepreneurial university. And it started 7 years ago when we decided to establish business incubation place within our university. So it was the first business incubator created for students, where we wanted to somehow motivate them to think about different business ideas, different startups, something that they would like to create, they would like to work on, and we give them free facilities, infrastructure, offices, wireless connection, whatever they needed for their start, and most importantly, we gave them free mentoring. So all our academicians were on their disposal and help them actually work on their business ideas and their startups and help them launch those products and services into market. And in the last 6 to 7 years, more than 500 business ideas went through our business incubation place. And currently we have 15 companies that are successfully operating in country, but also offering their products and services abroad. And when we actually work on this entrepreneurial mindset, we realize that since 85% of our students are local students, we realize that entrepreneurship mindset of young people is not on that specific high level. Majority of them would like to have a safe and secure job. They don't want to risk and open companies, especially if they fail, how they are going to close these companies, all this bureaucracy, closing the company in Bosnia and Herzegovina, actually make them afraid to start the business. And then we realized that we have to work and to, let's say, have a specific approach to education, that not only that we will be producing entrepreneurs, but also intrapreneurs, as we call them. So those are the students, young people who will be employed in different companies. They don't open their own businesses, but still they can be entrepreneurs in those organizations. They can be proactive, they can be innovative, they can show problem-solving skills and critical thinking. And in order to develop this kind of mindsets to young people, you have to have completely different approach to your education. And our education process starts from the very beginning, from the enrollment process. I believe that we have a unique enrollment process in Bosnia and Herzegovina. We believe, even though we are a private university and students have to pay tuition fees, annual tuition fees, but we believe that everyone deserves quality education. That's why, together with our owners from United Kingdom, Student Education, we allocate every year £1 million, and we deliver this money through scholarships to our students. So we organize a scholarship matrix exam in March, and then students who show, let's say, who make good scores on those exams, they can get a free education. So the best one get a free education. Then the second one will get 90% scholarship, third one 80%, then we rank them gradually. But we don't want to give them scholarships only based on that specific entrance exam. So our admission team then starts the interviews with our students. Last year, 5 people, period from April to September, made more than 3,000 interviews with students and their parents. Because in some families, parents are still decision makers.
Oh, I know that.
What the students will study. And then we have a certain criteria that we evaluate how they can get a scholarship. So someone can get 5% scholarship on exam, but end to 80% scholarship after the interview. Because we evaluate if they were volunteering on different activities, if they like sport, if they have a specific hobby that we like, and whatever they actually provide, we put in our information system. So we even learn about our students before they become our students. And we exactly know what extracurricular activities and informal education and trainings we should provide them in the 3 years period. And this is really quite good also for our partners and companies, because whenever they invite us, our students, and I'm so proud that I see some partners that we already cooperate with here, and I believe that alumni of International BiH University are in all these companies. So when they are happy with our students, they call us and they ask for more. And this is, let's say, this is a reason for me to believe that if companies come to our campus and we educate young students, their minds and their hearts together, that this easy access for students to the market and real sector, as we call, is actually our goal. So
I can definitely,
sorry.
no. Yeah, professor already alerted me saying, okay, there's no way I'm going to respond in 5 minutes. So be prepared on it. So shorten my capacity in terms of questions. But yes, you answered almost the second one. I can honestly confirm this because from personal perspective now in my company, there's a couple of people from Berczynska University and you can see the difference. You know, influencing their entrepreneurial skills because they want to prove themselves, they do great pitches, they prepare themselves in the market research capacity, and this is something I definitely is as a skill set which is required now in new days with the candidates, and it seems that, you know, progressing in this way that you're producing this type of skills on the early beginnings, which is
just maybe one more minute, 30 seconds. So when we started analyzing the startup ideas from students, we had expectations that business ideas will be coming from business programs. But actually engineers were those who were developing all these products and services. But they were lacking different leadership skills, let's say business skills. They didn't know how to form all these businesses into business models and do proper promotion and marketing and launch those products and services in the market. And then we completely reform our curricula. We offer introduction to business, entrepreneurship, and leadership as a mandatory courses to all our programs. And we offer them a wide range of elective courses that students could choose. For example, I teach digital marketing, which is, let's say, the course of the management department. I have 85 students, only 20 are coming from management department. All the others are from IT, electronics, graphic design, multimedia, digital communication, and PR. So I have a company in my class, okay? So definitely it can be a very good marketing agency because you have on one side engineers who are good with data and data analytics and metrics. On the other side, you have those creative students who are good in copywriting and visual arts and other elements. So it can be a very good sourcing company.
So it's clear now how you started your company, so it's much easier to understand. Okay, so Anna, so again, to ABSL experience, and this is something that you can showcase the best. And I know that Pavel will discuss the GBS trends, but what was the localist practices that influence stronger ties, especially with universities like this one? Because I know you can remember what are the action points, what are the activities that you've done even with secondary school, because we heard a lot of stories working with secondary school, which is still not happening here, and we are hoping at some point it will start happening. But can you remember and connect this, educational synergy that you had with the university? And I know that Poland has, ABSL, approaches in ABSL Academy and everything else. Can we connect this with everything
sure,
that Professor
said? Sure, of course I
can,
and I will take the burden to shorten. All right, so we believe education is the key, and it is a continuous, lifelong cycle of being open to learning, and it doesn't stop at once you graduate, right? So when we had the strategic board meeting, everybody was complaining, no talent, how should we grow furthermore? We simply turned the mindset and said, okay, there is a problem, there is a remedy. So we constructed our ABSL talent mission and vision, representing the values, needs, and expectations of the sector. However, we had to do the homework and do the roadshow at the secondary schools, at the authorities, even at the governmental level, and obviously at the higher education universities. So what we've done, and it wasn't like a sequence of actions, it's not possible. You need to see the opportunity, grab it, and do it simply. That's the pragmatic approach we have taken, and we still have that approach. Secondary schools, this is where you make, as a young person, a decision about your future, and it seems like you do it for the whole lifetime, right? So what we have done, we have facilitated with the education department of the city authorities 15 secondary schools in right now 3 cities, but we started with one, which was really in a need of that. We had a meeting to really open up for teachers what the sector stands for, because the perception was it's a corporation that will suck the blood out of our young students, and they will not have a bright future at the sector. So we've learned many of those things right there, which was in some cases shocking. So the one was to show the sector, to educate teachers. Second was to change the brand of the teacher in the eyes of young people, because teachers are not having, I'm not sure how it is here, but in Poland a good brand among young people. Internet of Things gives much better views and opinions than a teacher. It's not like it was in the past anymore. So to educate and provide free of charge trainings on the soft skill set to teachers. So it's like creating the social impact, but by that gaining supporters and what we call teacher effect that could educate the young people about the sector, be a little bit of career coaches, and then make right decisions for their studies at the higher educational universities. And that is a huge impact, I must admit. No one believed that we could invest our time, provide free of charge trainings, and have people spending time, company, money time to do that. And now it's reversing, and it's like a snowball effect with other cities to continue that. Because these people will stay in the city again, right? So it's a benefit for the whole ecosystem. When it comes to higher education and universities, we started with hackathons, with workshops, but what we figured out that we need more interdisciplinary studies. So you are not studying IT only for the sector, because that's very, let's say, narrow taken. So we wanted to create, let's say, graduates community of GBS studies who will understand the sector, who will understand all the functions, have broader perspective, and then they can choose, I will come back to it, on the job, what kind of training on the job they can choose. And believe me or not, how can we guarantee that the job now will still exist in 5 years from now, right? With the technology, fast-driven engine, right? So it's more to broaden the perspectives, to understand what we can do as the sector, and have this entrepreneurship in the middle of every interdisciplinary curriculum of studies. What we have done at the governmental level, as mentioned, we were very proactively asking around and having sometimes strange feedback, but we figure out that the entrepreneur level education is below the average in EU. It was our horsepower in the beginning when we started with the sector. Now it's beyond the average in EU when it comes to higher educational level studies. So we contributed ourselves, our experts giving lectures on topic of choice on the governmentally run platform, online platform that helps teachers to educate entrepreneurship classes or conduct entrepreneurship classes at secondary schools. And that creates, again, the snowball effect of getting together experts giving practical and sometimes meritocratic knowledge on the platform, giving teachers good examples, good materials to talk about, and of course having the government seeing the spotlight of the sector. So three steps, but definitely the company and the business gives the biggest impact towards their employees. And we what we now try to do is to change the mindset of employees that the career and trainings is not the decision of the company. It's your decision how you want to go. Take responsibility for your own career. And then we give you modular trainings that you can choose from, and every 3-5 years you can completely change the background. By example, I'm also a person who changed the background several times, and other leaders who now we try to send to regional roles of our headquarter companies to understand the business needs better and come back and also try to be role models to employees in the companies and tell them you don't have to stick, change instead of leave. And that is important. This is the continuous dialogue, continuous learning path I think we should all go through.
It's a definitely strategy. So I hope everything is written and recorded. So from this moment, yes, we can definitely practice it. And I know this didn't happen overnight in Poland. You know, it was a 10+ years of investing in the industry. And you know, ABSL was founded by the biggest companies in the world, like Shell, HP, all the big players on the market, who had, you know, honest intentions to create an environment where people can feel, you know, empowered and grow, and not only be, you know, directed in one industry, one position, one skill set. And this is something that is quite influential. And I love the idea of working with a secondary school, because at this point where parents are still influential, we can still count on their perspective, you know, understanding what's next. Unfortunately, in some cases, when they come to the market stage on the job market, students and young talents, they usually are, you know, disconnected with the options that are on the market. They take the first thing that is in front of them. So this is something that most probably will invest more time to prepare them for the market standards. So we are losing time, and I'm aware of it, and I'm going to shorten it as much as I can. But Anna also mentioned the industry trend which are happening in the market, and especially with the, you know, robotics, automation, and now AI tools. They are considered that they are helping the productivity. They are considered that they are, you know, building the operational excellence. But I would like to hear from Aida's perspective, how is this influencing on your HR strategies? Is this in any way encountered in terms of, you know, retention, talent acquisition, or L&D programs? How do you cope with it? Do you already have challenges, or you see advantages in AI, in HR?
Well, I think it's in the human nature that we are afraid of something unknown. But AI or ChatGPT is here, and it's here to stay. So we need to use it, utilize it. If not, we are like in a disadvantage. We use it, we love it. We call it in the company like our assistant, because it helps us dealing with administrative things, writing documentation, so we can focus on the important things, on people. We use it all over the company. So for example, also in development, because it's the developers use it for, I don't know, codes for writing tests, for also juniors, because the first is to ask ChatGPT and then to approach a mentor if ChatGPT couldn't help. So we also use it in marketing, for the content, for blogs. So it really helps everybody to focus on important things, while using it for things that actually some robot can do. And I think that everybody needs to go with the trend, because it's, like I said, here to stay. We need to, for example, when we think about the automotive industry, when robotics started, everybody was afraid. But what happened, the productivity increased, but it didn't happen that like human need or human resources are decreased.
I love the optimism. I'm the same one. I don't feel frightened, and even feel empowered with everything which is coming from AI, and we just have to tag along and find out what is happening next. So, as I promised, I'm gonna shorten. So, so this is a promise. So let's you know, I propose to skip the questions and let's use this presence of these people during the coffee break. You can reach out to them and discuss. But there's a final question that I would like to ask all of you. And this is a new generation trends. And I know we are all being controlled how we discuss this. You know, how do we feel about them and what do we see that is happening with them? What are their expectations? You know, what skills they define them and how do they understand nature or support of the growth. So in positive manner, how do you see new generation coming in colleges and what are their expectations? Do you see the difference between, let's say, 5 or 10 years in terms of their perspective, aspirations and everything?
Absolutely. The new generation is a brilliant generation. They're really smart and well-informed. They have powerful device in their hands, and whatever you say, whatever you claim, they will definitely Google it and they will question it. So they exactly know what they want, and they always start with why. So why should I study this? Why should I do this? Why should I work for your company? So what your company stands for. And when you share the values of your company, even your university, and the culture and everything, and if they believe what you believe, then they become associated with your university, with your programs, with your way of teaching, with your way of education. And as you could see, we bring our students with us wherever we go. Whatever is the event, whatever is the program, they are with us. So as I said, they will question whatever you claim, and when they ask a question, they require immediate answer. So if they send you email in the morning, if you don't answer it by noon, you are in trouble. Okay, so they need immediate action, which means that by default they are multitaskers. So this is the multitasking generation that in same time can work on a specific task on laptop, chat with a friend on phone, and listen a podcast on through earphones. And this multitasking led them to the lack of patience and accountability. So when I say lack of patience, it means that this is what we realize talking to our partners and sending our students there. So when I know that we employ a certain student in a company, I expect even after 5 years that she is there and, you know, happy with the organization and everything. And then I realized, or I got informed that they just switched company after 6 months, 5 months. Why? Because they don't make an impact. So they believe if I come to your organization and I don't make immediate impact, I don't become a decision maker or a leader of a team or whatever, I switch and I change and I look for something different. So we came to a position that companies, that's something that I like to call reverse employability. So it's not anymore whom the companies will choose, but whom the employees will choose, which means that companies should come and represent and make students believe that they are the right company for them because of the values, unique values that they share. So this is quite interesting with this new generation. As I said, they exactly know what they want. If you ask IT representatives who are here what their new young employees want, they will say free food and lazy bags. So I disagree with the previous speaker who said everyone seeks for money. I agree, sort of everyone likes money. But I know that my students will work for less salary in a company that they like, the culture and the environment and everything, and the company that actually they will be associated with, and on the task that they see as fun. So they just want to have fun. And I believe that we should support them in this, that they should have fun while working, because they really seek for this work-life balance. So this is the new generation. It's quite challenging, but I believe if we understand their aspirations, we shouldn't treat them as numbers. I said, okay, we have a quite unique enrollment process. Last year we enrolled 760 students through 3,000 interviews. So it's not about number of 760 actually. So it's about 760 unique individuals who have unique needs, values, beliefs, and aspirations. And if you don't treat them well, you lose them. You know, they just go to another country, they seek for other higher education institutions or other companies, and they never come back.
Yeah. And I fully agree. We can blame anyone in this process, but we should not blame them. They are the product of their environment, of their generation, and the future that we promised them. So this is the hardest thing to pronounce. I have 2 kids, and promising a future for them, especially after everything we've seen, it's really challenging. It's hard to commit on everything that you're discussing. But I would like to ask Anna, also you, as a last question. Being on strategic level, you don't maybe feel that encountered with a young talent, but definitely you see them progressing through the stages of their career. But what do you see with them? What do you see comparing with what you made in your progress during your career?
I agree with what has been just said, but I would also add a factor of the burnout and a factor of mental health with young people. We can see that they are overwhelmed not only with information and have attention distraction deficits, but also they take the world with the ecological catastrophe and with the economy decline, and they really seek for models. They really seek for people, human-to-human touch, despite they might not be good at expressing that so clearly and directly. And I think what we should do, we should take them as they are and help them go through these challenges, especially in the first 5-10 years of their life when they step into the job market. They have their ideal vision of truth, and they go out of the soap bulb really to experience. And I think companies with all the benefits and good environment should also provide education on stressors, how to deal with stress. That would really be the longer term solution for them to understand, identify and respond with the tool set that they will get also in the work environment. But I would not fight with them being nomads.
No, don't go there. So yeah, I also noticed how they wish to be determined by their career. This is something totally strange from my perspective, because in my time, when I started working, it was just finding a job, having some extra cash to travel, to have friends and everything. Now they are determined by their career, determined by the first job, by the second job, by the skills they acquired. They have so high expectations of anyone in front of them. But there's no better person than Aida to be faced with this challenge, because she's seeing, I suppose you are expecting them to be kind of shaped before they face you. But what do you see? What are your challenges trying to accommodate everything that they are expressing, or mostly not expressing, but expecting? Those are the challenges, not verbalizing their expectations, and for us to understand or predict what should be a next step for them in their career, in their environment or work habits that they have.
Well, I would like to say that I absolutely agree with what you said. I love it, because it's really the truth. The youth today is really brilliant, and I love it that they know that they're brilliant. I also agree it's not about the money, it's about everything else, how much they're respected, how much their opinion worth it. So what we like to do is constant check-ins with them. We like to talk with them. We have growth plans where we sit together with them and we ask them what they're currently on, what they want to achieve in the current moment, and where they see themselves like in 1 year, 2 years. What we see is that they're constantly hungry for knowledge. So we really invest in their knowledge. We want to give them opportunities to gain knowledge, and we think when we help them, they help us to grow. So it's really something organic. It is sometimes challenging because not everybody is like outgoing. Not everyone will directly say if they're facing something. So it's really sometimes tough, challenging, but you need to love young people or general people to help them, to understand them, And I think it's really constant talking with them and helping them because they maybe know what they want, but it changed. We also have the opportunity in our company when you start one position and then you see, okay, maybe this is not for me. I would really love to go in another direction. We welcome that and we help them to get to the final goal.
Super. So let's see what next generation will bring in. So let's hope we're going to be in the audience, not discussing it this time. But I just wanted to thank you, everyone, especially Anna, Aida, Mersid. Thank you for joining in. Thank you for sharing your experience. And thank you for at least kind of challenging the audience. I know that it was not interactive as we would like to have, but challenging in context, what do you see from your perspective? It's not just a personal perspective, it's a company, it's a career, and it's an industry perspective that everybody has in mind. Please use the opportunity. They are here, have a coffee, ask them questions. If I didn't ask the right one, please you do. And I know we're a bit late with a coffee, so let's go there, let's join in. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
As Benjamin announced, we're having a 50-minute Caribou coffee break and use the opportunity to network and connect with peers.